So I get a lot of comments on my channel by people who imply that I live like a cheapskate, but to me, there's a huge difference between being frugal and being cheap. There's a Warren Buffett quote that I love, which goes, "Price is what you pay, value is what you get." And I think this quote is absolutely brilliant because it can apply to everything from fuzzy socks to investing in stocks. So what's the difference between a cheap person and a frugal person? To me, a cheap person is someone who fixates on finding stuff for the lowest price possible. And they're more fixated on the number on the price tag than they are about the quality of an item. On the other hand, while frugal people do care about saving money, they're looking way beyond how much something costs. And they ask themselves, what value is this thing going to add to my life? So that's why I say I am frugal and not cheap, because to me, frugality is a way to squeeze the most value out of every dollar that I can. So that's why today I'm sharing this list of 7 reasons why I'm so frugal and why I'm also passionate about encouraging other people to be more frugal as well. Number 1, I like being lazy. The older I get, the more I appreciate the value of taking things easy and going slow. I know a lot of people that get so caught up in this hustle grind set where they feel like they're always having to work harder or do more or be more productive. And don't get me wrong, there are still things that I need to take care of in my daily life. Like my kids' stinky clothes aren't going to climb out of the laundry basket and go wash themselves. But I realize that there are things that I value much more than money. And so instead of working longer and harder so I can afford to buy the newest, best, or biggest of anything, I'd rather spend less time working while finding small ways to save money so that I can enjoy the finer things in life, which, by the way, the best things in life are not things at all. This brings me to the next point, which is the idea that material possessions are what makes us happy is one of the biggest lies that society and companies are trying to force down our throats. They tell us that without their products, we're never going to be cool enough, smart enough, popular enough, or young enough to feel attractive. And all of these companies and products are making these big, huge, outrageous promises, and most of the time they're over-promising and under-delivering. It's like when people get into a cycle of bad relationships where you fall in love, they treat you badly, you break up with them only to run right back into the next toxic relationship. And so we keep buying into these promises and purchasing stuff to chase that temporary dopamine high that it gives you when you bring something new home. And what you're left with is a mountain of clutter that you didn't even really want or need. The moment that you realize that happiness doesn't lie in acquiring more stuff, but instead in living more life, is the moment that you free yourself from the endless hamster wheel of consumerism. Number 3, waste not, want not. One of the reasons that I'm so frugal is I just hate wasting things. And I read one study that said that the average US household throws away around 32% of its food every year. And that to me just feels like you're throwing money in the trash can. But I'm not just talking about food waste, because there are so many ways to cut down on waste and in doing so, save more money. Like making sure that you turn off the lights when you leave a room, or unplugging electronics when they're not in use. We already line dry our laundry instead of using the dryer, and we have reduced the amount of water that we use when we're taking baths and when we're doing the laundry or the dishes. So we've found small ways to try to save on energy costs. And another way that we cut down on waste is to buy less, because not only is it a waste of money to buy stuff that you don't really need, but it might also be a waste of space because you're bringing a lot of stuff into your home and causing a lot of clutter that's going to weigh on your mind. And basically, it's like roommates that aren't paying their rent. So I really appreciate how frugal living helps me cut down on waste in all aspects of my life. Number 4, I'm frugal because comparing myself to other people makes me unhappy. Comparison can be toxic on all levels. It can be toxic to our mental health, it can be toxic to our financial health, and that in turn can even affect our physical health because we feel all of this pressure and stress and overwhelm just trying to run as fast as we can to keep up with these other people that we feel like are leaving us behind. There's a reason that Teddy Roosevelt said comparison is the thief of joy, because nothing quite steals your happiness and your gratitude for what you have, comparing yourself to someone else that you feel like is doing better or who has more than you. And that's why in our society, we have tons of people who go into debt trying to buy bigger houses or fancier brand new cars or the latest model of the iPhone. So I've definitely worked to release this toxic mindset that I needed to be constantly comparing myself to other people, and worked to be more focused and grateful for what I already have in my life. Number 5, to give my kids a brighter future. Sometimes I joke that I didn't choose the frugal life chose me. I moved out when I was 18, and when you're working minimum wage jobs to get by and trying to go to college full time at the same time, you have no choice but to be frugal. It's funny because we just talked about the comparison trap, and actually I used to get jealous when I would read stories on financial websites or in books about people who had the option of moving back in with their parents to save money after graduating. Because by the time that I graduated, both of my parents had passed on and I didn't have a home to go back to. So for me, frugal living is a way to give my kids a better future, one where they don't have to work multiple crappy minimum wage jobs for $5.15 an hour and survive off ramen noodles and peanut butter sandwiches. Not trying to hate on ramen noodles here. I'm still a huge fan. And I'm glad that my husband is on the same page with me, which brings me to the next point, which is that frugal living helps us have a happier marriage. I mean, kind of. My husband and I still fight about money all the time. He thinks he's more frugal, and frankly, I disagree.
I think I'm way more frugal than him.
Financial compatibility is a really important factor when you're trying to determine who you want to spend the rest of your life with. And that's probably why financial disagreements are the second leading cause of divorce behind infidelity. Good relationships take work, and I am so happy that money is not one of the things that we have to argue about in our home, because we are totally in sync with our habits and our decisions. Number 7, having money means you have more choices. People say that money doesn't buy happiness, and I agree with that to an extent. But what money can buy you is choices, and not having money limits your options in so many ways. It limits your options about what kind of food you can eat, where you can go, and even if you can afford to go to the doctor or not. I remember specifically this one time I went indoor rock climbing with a group of my friends, and there was this overhead rock climbing area, and I dropped down and somehow I fell in just the wrong way, and I kind of twisted my ankle, and I heard an audible pop, and I laid there for a second. Luckily my friend was a nurse and she came to take a look at it, and it started swelling up like crazy, and she told me that there's not much she can do. She can tell that it's not broken, but I should probably go to the ER to have it checked out. Only I didn't have health insurance, and I hadn't had health insurance for years because I couldn't afford it. And so what I did instead of going to the ER was I just went home and I spent around, I think it was 3 weeks, either crawling around on my hands and knees to go do things like go cook food or go to the bathroom, or hopping around on one foot. My ankle swelled up so bad that it was like the same size as my calf. I had a massive cankle, and I hated not being able to go get help or even just simply knowing what was wrong with me because I couldn't afford healthcare. And what's even worse than that is that there have been times when people have stolen from me or taken advantage of me because they knew that I didn't have the money to get away or legally defend myself against them. Money is power because it gives you better options, more choices, and more freedom in every aspect of your life. So being frugal and learning about personal finance and how to save and grow my money has given me so much more control over my life and the choices I can make, so I can better protect myself and my children from disadvantages like this in the future. And by the way, if saving money is a goal for you this year, I just want to let you know that this video is one of 4 videos I have planned for this month. This is the second year that I'm running a no spend challenge for the entire month of February. So make sure that you like this video and hit the little red subscribe button and turn on all notifications for this channel so you can make sure to catch the rest of the frugal living content that I'm going to be sharing this month. And if you're joining me at a later time, don't worry, because I will make sure to link the rest of the videos about frugal living that I make as I create them down in the description box below for you to check out so that you can follow along at your leisure. And if you want to catch up on the videos from last year's no spend challenge and all the frugal living content in there, make sure to go check out this video, or I'll see you next week for the next frugal living topic. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.